Today's video is brought to you by tcrew.com. If you're in the market for some great grooming tools for trimming, dry shaving, and outlining, then please go to my website, tcrew.com. Use discount code MARK to get 10% off your purchase. Link in description. This is Mark's Mind. YouTube, what's happening? It's Mark here from Mark's Mind. Just wanted to do this video that I've been meaning to do for the longest while. For those of you who don't know me really, like my friends and family do, my friends and family know 100% for certain that I never got behind the Black Lives Matter movement. Alright? Couple things about the Black Lives Matter movement. They were formed by a bunch of confessed Marxists. They said we're trained Marxists. Okay? So that was a red flag for me. But before I knew that, what I did know is that they were funded by, and I don't want to say his name on this platform because they are censoring people like crazy, but I'm going to call him Georgie Porgy, and you might now see his picture on the screen with his name. They were funded by Georgie Porgy, and once I knew they were funded by Georgie Porgy, that told me everything I needed to know about that organization. And for those of you who don't know about BLM, Black Lives Matter, they were formed on the guise that they were fighting against systemic racism and the oppression of the black man and the killing of black men, unarmed black men by blah blah blah. You know the talking points, okay? Yeah, they were formed on that basis. Now, me being me, I like to research things, but my spidey sense was tingling about the group Black Lives Matter from the start. So I went to their website and started reading through their website. And probably on my screen now you're seeing some screenshots of video. You're seeing some screenshots that I took myself from my phone on their website a couple years ago. Now since then they have updated their website, and a lot of the information that they had on their website they have removed. But I went to their website and I went to the section where it says what we believe. And after I clicked on what we believe, I saw this next thing that you're seeing now on your screen. 4 years ago, what is now known as the Black Lives Matter Global Network began to organize. It started out as a chapter-based, member-led organization whose mission was to build local power and to intervene when violence was inflicted on black communities by the state and vigilantes. By the state. Remember, this was a time when they were formed. There was a certain black guy who was president of America at the time. So I'm to believe that this guy was sanctioning state-led violence against black people. All right, you're trying to sell me that narrative. I think it's BS, but let's continue. In the years since, we've committed to struggling together and to imagining and creating a world free of anti-blackness. Anti-blackness? My blackness has worked in my favor on more than one occasion. But let me continue. Where every black person has the social, economic, and political power to thrive. Listen, I know some of you hold on to this white privilege thing and all that stuff, but not everyone, not every black person, even when afforded the opportunities to thrive, are going to take advantage of those opportunities. Neither is every white person, or Asian person, or Latino person, or anyone else in between. Not all of us are going to thrive and to do well and to be successful. But let me continue. Black Lives Matter began as a call to action in response to state-sanctioned violence and anti-black racism. Our intention from the very beginning was to connect black people from all over the world who have a shared desire for justice to act together in their communities. The impetus for that commitment was and still is the rampant and deliberate violence inflicted on us by the state. So now they're talking about, you know, like, say for example, there's a police shooting of a black guy, okay, unarmed, and unarmed doesn't always mean non-violent, okay. Enraged by the death of Trayvon Martin and the subsequent acquittal of his killer, George Zimmerman. George Zimmerman, that name doesn't sound like a white dude like thing to me. And if you've seen the pictures of George Zimmerman, who maybe is half Jewish, half Latino, yeah? So the white narrative, the white redneck narrative goes out the window on that one. Unbeknownst to me at the time of this whole Trayvon Martin killing, is that while Trayvon Martin was being followed by Zimmerman, he got all the way home on his mobile while he was chatting to her. He was pissed off that Zimmerman was following him, yeah? Then what he did was leave his home, go back out, looking for Zimmerman, got into a fight with Zimmerman, started bashing Zimmerman's head on the pavement, or what Americans call sidewalk. Zimmerman then reached in for his gun and shot Trayvon. One shot, one bullet killed him. And I think when he was dying, he said something to Zimmerman, right? Whatever. Okay? But this is not the narrative that the mainstream are selling. A year later, we set out together on the Black Lives Matter Freedom Ride. So this is a year after Trayvon being killed. Trayvon was killed in February 2012, so a year after, 2013. And all of those who have been torn apart by state-sanctioned violence. So George Zimmerman wasn't working for the state. He was just a wannabe flipping neighborhood watch cop, okay? And they specifically told him, the 911 call person told him, keep your ass where you are. Forever changed, we returned home and began building the infrastructure for the Black Lives Matter global network, which even in its infancy has become a political home for many. Now this Black Lives Matter thing spread across the world like a cancer on drugs. There were black people in England I would engage with on social media who called me a sellout, Uncle Tom, all kinds of stuff. And they're like, so what you saying, black lives don't matter? Right, just because I'm saying it's a fake ass organization, right? And I'm not saying, I think all lives matter. Because here's the thing, I got white friends, I got white family, I got Asian family, I got Asian friends. So if in the situation where they're killed or they're murdered, or in a situation where they're just dying, am I to have less empathy for them because they're not black? That's the question I ask them, and they can never come back with a solid answer, because it shows their ignorance and their lack of care. These people have a habit of talking about, they don't care about us. That's a subject for another video. Let me continue reading. So this thing spread all across the world, right? It was a global phenomenon. Global phenomenon. Everyone's talking about Black Lives Matter. I have friends and family who were out in marches. I remember this one black American guy I know here in Japan sent me a text. He's like, hey man, there's a Black Lives Matter march this weekend. This Sunday, you want to come out? Well, hell no. Told him my reasons why. You know, he never responded after that. Because I had my reasons. Because I knew it was a bogus organization. Let's continue reading. Ferguson helped to catalyze. Ferguson was, you know, hands up, don't shoot. Michael Brown. Yeah. Ferguson helped to catalyze a movement to which we've all helped give life. Organizers who call this network home have ousted anti-black politicians, won critical legislation to benefit black lives. Really? Tell me, what are they? And changed the terms of the debate on blackness around the world through movement and relationship building. We have also helped catalyze other movements, and that must be Antifa, burning down people's businesses and stuff. Other movements and shifted culture with an eye toward the dangerous impacts of anti-blackness. Again, this anti-blackness, they want to cause division between people, because there's always going to be black people who latch onto the victimhood narrative that they're oppressed, and then there are black people like me who are like, I'm not oppressed. Everything that I've wanted to do in my life, I've been able to do through hard work. And there might be some things that I don't have access to, but I'm working hard to gain access to those things. I'm not using my color as a crutch to like, oh, I can't do this because I'm black. Let's read on. The Black Lives Matter Global Network is as powerful as it is because of our membership, our partners, our supporters, and a whole bunch of people I know sent them money with buying t-shirts, going to marches. Black Lives Matter. Nonsense. Our continued commitment to liberation. Liberation? You know what's funny? Black people have a habit of talking about slavery from like hundreds of years ago, but slavery happening right now. Right now in Africa, right now in 2022 in Libya, where you got Arabs selling black people in open air markets after they toppled that leadership and got Gaddafi out. Thanks, Obama. And they had open air slave trade markets of Africans. They're not outraged about that. They don't want to go march for that, but they're talking about slavery that happened in the past that we have no way of controlling or changing. Right? So let me continue. Where was I? Our continued commitment to liberation for all black people means we are continuing the work of our ancestors and fight. See, always talking about the past. Ain't talking about now. Ancestors. And fighting for our collective freedom. We're free, you idiots. Didn't you get the message? It's 2022 in 1800. Fighting for our collective freedom because it is our duty. Listen, you could fight for collective freedom until the cows come home, but there's some people still in mental shackles, and that's not going anytime soon. Every day, we recommit to healing ourselves and each other, and to co-creating alongside comrades, allies, and family and culture where each person feels seen, heard, and supported. We acknowledge, respect, and celebrate differences and commonalities. We work vigorously for freedom and justice for black people and, by extension, all people. Freedom and justice. They're always fighting for freedom and justice when these black criminals are arrested, get into fights with police officers, shooting at police officers, and then are shot. You seldom see them out marching for like people like me if I were to get shot by police. Never getting into an argument with a police officer, fighting or whatever. If I got killed by a police officer, irrelevant. They're always fighting for black criminals. It doesn't make any sense to me, but let me continue. Starts getting juicy now. We are unapologetically black in our positioning. In affirming that Black Lives Matter, we need not qualify our position. To love and desire freedom and justice for ourselves is a prerequisite for wanting the same for others. All right, whatever. This is when it starts getting juicy. We see ourselves as part of the global black family, and we are aware of the different ways we are impacted or privileged as black people who exist in different parts of the world. We are guided by the fact that all Black Lives Matter, regardless of actual or perceived sexual identities. So now the sexual stuff starts coming in. Now it starts getting juicy. Gender identity, gender expression, economic status, ability, disability, religious beliefs or disbeliefs, immigration status or location. So basically, if you're part of the rainbow community, you're an illegal immigrant, whatever, we're cool with you. We don't care about all of that stuff. All right, fair enough. Okay. I don't know what Trayvon Brown and being a confused man or woman dressing, believing that you're of the opposite gender, whatever, has anything to. I don't know what that has to do with black lives being taken in the streets by these racist cops. But let me continue reading. We make space for transgender brothers and sisters to participate and lead. There we go. Yeah. The good part ain't come yet. We are self-reflective and do the work required to dismantle cisgender. That's people like me. That's straight men. Cisgender. I think that's what they call us now, right? I'm straight, heterosexual, simple as that. Cisgender privilege and uplift black trans folk. Okay, Trayvon Martin, black trans folk. Okay, Michael Brown, black trans folk. Let's continue. Especially black trans women. Those are the men who think they're women, right? Who continue to be disproportionately impacted by trans antagonistic violence. Well, let me see. If you tell someone you're a woman when you're really a man, go into the toilets to make out with them, then a homeboy finds out that you have a tallywhacker and beats the crap out of you, or worse, you kind of brought that one on yourself. But I digress. Because when do you hear about just like regular transgender dude just walking down the road and then a bunch of guys just beat them up? I'm sure it happens, but not to the point where they're talking about. We build space that affirms black women and is free from sexism, misogyny. How about misandry, the hate of men? And environments in which men are centered. Remember, this group was formed by a bunch of black Marxist lesbians, okay? As Jesse, what's his face? Jesse Lee Peters would say, lesbians. We practice empathy. We engage comrades with the intent to learn about and connect with their contexts. We make our spaces family friendly and enable parents to fully participate with their children. We dismantle, here's it now, we dismantle the patriarchal practice that requires mothers to work. So now they want to double shifts so that they can mother in private even as they participate in public justice work. We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement by supporting each other as extended families and villages that collectively care for one another, especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable. Ain't talking about no fathers, no black fathers in these black families. They want to dismantle the Western prescribed nuclear family, which is what? Father, mother, kids. The Western prescribed, with a father at the helm, controlling stuff at the head. Let me not use the word control, but leading with his wife and kids. Yeah, they want to dismantle all of that. They want households with two daddies and two mummies and one daddy, and everyone's just in a tolerant environment and a safe space. And this is why I could never get behind this, because as a black man observing the state of black families and the state of black culture, there is no way I could get behind an organization that is talking about dismantling the family structure. Over 70% of our black babies are born into fatherless homes, raised by single mothers, and we know all the dysfunction that comes with that. While not all single mothers are bad, and some of them really do hold it down, but we know that there's a lot of dysfunction that comes after these single mother, single parent households. This is irrefutable fact, right? I'm not saying all, but I'm saying most, right? I'm saying most. And for an organization to talk about dismantling the family structure, in particular the black family structure, I can't get behind them. I'm sorry, never did, never will. And we discovered, let me see if there's anything else worth reading. We foster queer, yeah, this is worth reading. We foster a queer affirming network. When we gather, we do so with the intention of freeing ourselves from the tight grip of heteronormativity, thinking, or so all you straight people are a bunch of scumbags, basically, yeah? Or rather the belief that all in the world are heterosexual. Whoever thought that all in the world is heterosexual? But if you'd, in this month of June, you'd believe that damn near 50% of the world is their way inclined, right? Unless he or she, or he, they put the she first, black lesbians, or they disclose otherwise. We cultivate an intergenerational and communal network free from ageism. So now they're bringing in ageism. We believe that all people, regardless of age, show up with the capacity to lead and to learn. These are the people who on their website will say this. But in reality, what are they doing? Going out, burning down people's homes, burning down people's businesses, beating people up for not aligning with their way of thinking, their ideology, okay? Partnering with Antifa and those types. We saw what they did in the Summer of Love in 2020 when they burned down a big chunk of cities in America, okay? Why? Again, in protest for the life of a black criminal. It's unfortunate that he went that way, but like I said to a friend of mine the other day, even when the guy was sitting upright in the back of the police car, he was saying that he couldn't breathe. They put him down on the ground, and then that idiot Chauvin had his knee on his neck. All he had to do was bloody take his knee off. He was already handcuffed. Idiot. So I'm not condoning that idiot's behavior, but at the same time, we can't pretend like George Floyd didn't play a part in his untimely demise. And in reality, that guy would have probably, it was just a matter of time before he was gonna be gone. Because his lifestyle, you know, holding a gun to a pregnant woman's stomach during a home invasion, drugs, all that stuff, dealing with counterfeit money and all that stuff, it was just a matter of time before he was either gonna be imprisoned or taken out, either by a cop or a fellow criminal. It was just a matter of time. I mean, this is just the reality of it. All these people you see them marching and protesting for, most of the times they're criminals who all they had to do was just be respectful when stopped by the police. All they had to do was provide whatever ID they wanted. All they had to do was not participate in crime. How about that? There's a novel thought. You know, I've been stopped by the police a multitude of times. In the UK, in Japan, in the Philippines, in Thailand, in America. A few years ago, I was with my friends. We were driving and the police pulled us over. My friend's friend was driving. We were going out. I was in transit between America and Jamaica. We went out for the night because I thought I'll just sleep on the flight down from New York. Police pulled us over. We talked to the police respectfully, or my friend's friend did. Showed his ID. He dropped it in there that he's in the military. Checked his ID. Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much, and we were on our way. I wasn't like, what the F you stopped me? Blah 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 blah. You MFer, whatever. I've been in these situations. I've been stopped by police in Japan a multitude of times. And I'm here to tell the tale because I just speak to people respectfully. Duh. Okay. So, Black Lives Matter. What has come out about this organization since they started to now? They collected millions upon millions of dollars, probably over $100 million over the years, right? By these suckers. I got suckered by that Clinton Foundation when they were collecting money for Haiti. I gave $100 to that, and that money went to the Clintons, not to the Haitians. So I wasn't gonna get suckered again. So they collected hundreds of millions of dollars. Turns out that the people who were collecting money for them were collecting it and then funneling money to Democrat politicians like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren and all that stuff. Not only that, the founders on the low were buying up a whole bunch of expensive properties, millions here and there, buying up properties, yeah, with money that people worked hard for because they bought into a BS movement talking about oppression and systemic this, that and the other, and all this nonsense. Listen, you know, this is going to be a controversial video. It's already controversial with just what I'm saying, so let me make it even more controversial. I was going to do a separate video about this, but let me just talk about this now. And I've asked this question to friends and family. Some have answered me honestly, some haven't answered, or some have said, oh well, I'll do whatever. This is it. This video is already controversial. You think it's controversial now? It's gonna get really controversial. I've given people the scenario. I say to them, because we are to believe that if you're a black person in America, especially if you're a man, just walking down the road, there's a racist white cop or some type of white supremacist KKK guy just waiting around the corner to kill you. When statistically speaking, there is a much higher chance, a tremendously higher chance of you being killed by a black person. If you look at the crime stats in America, violent crime, whether it be assaults or murders, as a collective, 53% of that is committed by black people in America. It's unfortunate because they make up, these criminals don't represent the majority, they represent a small minority. But this small minority, just think about it, are responsible for 53% of all violent crimes and murders. That's astounding, that's astonishing, that's worrying, and I guarantee you most of them are coming out to single parent households. Not crapping on single mothers out there, but this is just a reality of it, right? So I've asked my friends and family this question. I've given them this scenario. It's late at night, you're walking down the road, you come to a fork in the road, you look one way, you see 5 white police officers outside a donut shop. You look the other way, you see 5 18 to 20-year-old black guys walking towards you in their puffer jackets and Timbs with their sagging jeans and what have you. You see them coming towards you. Which road do you go down? Do you choose the road with the 5 white cops? I say to them, statistically speaking, do you choose the road with the 5 white cops outside the donut shop, or the road with the 5 young black guys coming down the road? Some people have said to me, honestly, Mark, I'm gonna go down the road with them white cops, because when I see them young black guys, I'm scared. And some people have said to me, I'll go down the road with the black guys because I've been to the hood before. I didn't ask you that, whether you've been to the hood before. We've all been to the hood before. But statistically speaking, which road would you choose? And most people have come back when they're not on, so they're not going to say on Front Street, they'll say it to me in private. But most people have come back and said to me, I'm going down the road. When I said to them statistically, because they know the stats. Some people are in denial, but most people know the stats, that you stand a much better chance with those white cops than you do with them young black guys coming out to them single households, most likely. Hate me if you will, but I deal in facts and figures. I don't deal in emotions. And you don't know what it's like because you don't live in America. I don't deal with that BS. Okay? Here's the thing, I'll tell you a story. When I was in London in 2012, I was there. That's the last time I actually went to London. 2012, even got a chance to see some of the Olympics live. I was walking on Oxford Street. I just came out of Oxford Circus Station, which is, for my London people, you know where that is. Just came out on near where Shelley's, you know where you come out and Shelley's is just like there. Right, you come out and just a little bit down. What was Shelley's? Because I think when I was there last time, Shelley's was gone. Shelley's is a shoe store, was a shoe store. Just where Shelley's was, opposite Top Shop and Top Man. Right? Near Nighttown. So I'm going across Oxford Street. That's the intersection with Regent Street. My university was just around the corner. University of Westminster. And I'm going across Oxford Street, walking from the Shelley side over to the Top Shop, Top Man side. Young black guy. It's a crowded, busy road, tourists and all that stuff, right? So I'm walking across. Young black guy, his shoulder bumps my own, mine bumps his. So, oh, I'm sorry, I said to him. He said to me, it's alright, you're black. And it took a while for that to really soak in for what he said to me. It's alright, you're black. So what if I wasn't black and still apologized? That wouldn't have been enough, right? We know what happens in London with these young black guys, young white guys, young Asian guys nowadays. But the young black kids are at the forefront of this. Coming out of these single parent households, these income support, government funded homes. Just like in America, these welfare homes. These young, and I'm not saying that anyone who gets welfare, that everyone who gets welfare is raising these type of kids, but they are raising, some of them are raising these type of kids. But this black kid would have possibly attacked me if I weren't black, right? And I'll be honest with you, when I see, now in Japan I don't have this issue, when I see young black Japanese kids, 18, 20 years old, I feel no fear. But if I go back to London, if I'm in the States and I see young black guys, I feel I'm on edge. I'm on edge. And I thought about it. I was like, is it just something that you develop because you get older? Like, as you get older, you kind of become more fearful. And I thought about it. I was like, nah, because when I was their age, I was scared of young black boys as well. And maybe I was painted with the same negative brush then. People would see me and think that I was going to rob them. I had some experiences like that when I was like 18, 19 in London. You see people holding on to their women, holding their handbags extra tight when they saw me coming or whatever, right? Because as the commissioner of police back in the day, Paul Condon, said, most muggings in London are committed by young black men. And people were outraged, but I said, is it the truth or is it a lie? It's the truth. I actually used to work for the police in London. I did office work. I wasn't a police officer, I was a civilian, a civvy, as we call ourselves. I was a civvy working for the police. And I had the feeling that some of those police were maybe racist, possibly, but 99% of them weren't. They're just regular dudes doing their job, fighting crime, helping people, whatever. And I'm not just giving this opinion, a biased opinion, to say like, oh, you just love cops because you used to work for them, you're a sellout Uncle Tom Coon. No, I genuinely worked with them. And like I say, when you talk to people and you know them on a personal level, you know, negative stereotypes or preconceived ideas go out the window and you take people as individuals, which is what MLK was trying to achieve, where he had a dream that his kids would be judged on the content of their character, you know, not their bloody color. So yeah, it's not something with age. I had this fear when I was 18 living in London as well, because young black guys my age were robbing people. A guy I used to go to college with, he was at college and then for a while he wasn't, and then he reappeared in the second year, and I was like, hey, where you been? Because it turned out his cousin was a friend of mine from Jamaica, and he told me that he was locked up for attempted robbery of a sweet shop, what Americans call convenience stores. And yeah, and the funny thing about that as well is that when I was like 17, 18, the girls, the black girls in particular, now, you know, I got some attention from the girls, even when I had acne back in the day and stuff. But those girls were always attracted to the thugs. Those guys who had done some time in prison or some type of juvenile, whatever, and came out, oh, they were like hot bread for them girls. You know, but hey, listen, I've spoken at length on this topic. Like, if you like, comment. I know I'm gonna get some comments on this video in the comment section. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and tell me what you think. Am I an Uncle Tom sellout coon, or do I make valid points on the whole thing with Black Lives Matter and that farce of an organization and the victimhood? They sell black people victimhood like it's going out of fashion, right? While they enrich themselves on the sly. Shame on them. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to support me in my business endeavors, all my links are below with discount codes. Until the next video, this is Mark from Mark's Mind. Take care. Peace.